All right, good morning, traders. Today is January 16th, 2026. My name is Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That's a day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. So, thank you, everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyberland. Thank you for following my content, liking my content, leaving kind words on my content, subscribing to my content. Special shout out, John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy, Sarah, Roasted for sharing the content. Love that. Helping get the good word out there to the rest of the world. I appreciate that so much. All right, let's drill down. Let's talk about the market from what happened yesterday. See what we got going on. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 693.75. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. IWM made new all-time high again yesterday. Diamond Dow made a higher high and a higher low closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. SPY made higher high, higher low closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. QQQ made a higher high and a higher low closing under a bearish trap over the 17 EMA. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute downtrend. FNGU, an inside day, closing under a bearish trap under the falling 17. Gold and silver made lower lows, lower highs, closing over bullish traps over their 17s. USO, in an uptrend, made a lower high, lower low, closed under a bullish trap, but over the 17 EMA. UNG made a new all-time low. US dollar index still in a daily uptrend, closed near the 99.35 area. SPY max pain for today, 680, with a put-to-call ratio of about 2.1 puts for each call that expires today. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15. The security options expire at 4. If this is your first time seeing this, these are all in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. These are all in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they got a star next to it, it means they're building out a launch pad, or otherwise known as a bull flag from which to launch higher. If they got a little star next to it over here and they're building out a bear flag or a platform from which to dive lower. Okay, let's go take a look at the markets. Take a look at SPY. Let's take a look at it on the 10-minute chart first. All right, so we got a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close yesterday. Pre-market, I think, shows us something a little bit different. Let's see what we got here. And we got a 10-minute downtrend coming here. But we also got consolidation over prior consolidation. All right? So that is a bullish environment right there. All right? So I'll be looking for the 10-minute uptrend to manifest so I can trade a continuation. I can trade a continuation of this consolidation over prior consolidation. Hopefully looking to pick off the bottoms of these lows, but we'll see what happens. They're still in a downtrend. They may continue this downtrend down through here. We'll see what happens. All right, so that's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart we have, let's pick up a different one. 2-hour chart. 2-hour we have an uptrend, the 3 EMA and the candlesticks up over the 8 EMA and the 17 EMA. So 2-hour uptrend right now. Okay, so we're at the top of quadrant 4 on the daily chart. You can see us all the way up here. Okay, so this is the April low. So this is still bullish and in an uptrend on the daily time frame. Weekly, let's see all the green dots, still bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly, still bullish and in an uptrend. Let's come back to the 10-minute chart. Actually, that's 15, and let's try the game plan. All right, so for the game plan this morning. All right, got green erases red up over 695.45. Pivot 693.75. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green under 691.25. Okay, so I trade 7 DTE and 14 DTE Friday options on the multiple of 5 specifically for the open interest. All right, with strikes $2 to $15 out of the money specifically for the low price point. Okay, so if I was to trade, I'm not opposed to trading 0 DTEs options on, for today. And I'm not opposed to trading in the money options either. Matter of fact, if you trade in the money options, you will get much better performance than I will by trading out of the money options. Okay, you'll get much better performance than me. But I prefer to have a low price point. My max risk for today is $11,074. Okay, so my daily goal is going to be $1,100. Okay, because that's 10% of my trading account is going to be my max risk. So that's $11,000. My daily goal is going to be $1,100. Okay, so I don't have a lot to play with. So for that reason, I would like to trade out of the money options. All right, so that makes it a whole lot less. Now keep in mind, all right, if you trade in the money options, and I'm not against it, all right, matter of fact, you're going to get much better performance, but you better stay there to monitor your position, because if you get one of these $2 10-minute down candles or red candles, and you're holding 10 calls, all right, that's $2,000 because you're getting penny for penny performance out of your option. So that's $2,000 out of your account just like that in one 10-minute candle, all right? So for that reason, I choose the out of the money options, all right? So not to say that mine won't go down. Mine's going to go down too, but yours is going to drop significantly more than mine, because remember, you're going to get penny for penny performance. I will not. Okay, so I choose those. Okay, so I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. My favorite trade is 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that resides inside of a 2-hour uptrend, that resides inside a daily uptrend, that resides inside the weekly uptrend, that lives inside the monthly uptrend. Okay, I got all the bigger time frames supporting my 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so that's my favorite trade, and I especially like it when it's over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's my preferable trade. Okay, that's for me, that's the best. All right, I like that one the best. All right, so if a 10-minute uptrend were to manifest down here, long before it gets to the red erases green entry or over the pivot, okay, I'm not opposed to trading that 10-minute uptrend. I just like to see it break the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle. Same thing on the reverse side. If a 10-minute downtrend were to manifest up here, okay, or here, over the pivot, I'm not opposed to trading it. I just like to see it break that 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. Okay, so there's SPY. QQQ's got a game plan as well. QQQ, pivot, 623.75. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Green erases red. Over 627.30. Red erases green. Underneath, 620.80. All right. On QQQs, just pretty similar to the SPY. Okay, I trade 7 days till expiration and 14 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. I want a tight bid-ask spread. I don't want a lot of slippage when I get out. Again, I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP and 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. So same thing happens here on QQQ. 10-minute chart. I've got a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. On the 2-hour chart. Okay, we still got an opening here between the 3 EMA and the 8. 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Daily chart. Higher high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap, but over, see the green dots? The 17 EMA. Okay, it's at the top of quadrant 4. Here's our April low. That's bullish and in an uptrend. So over the all-time high anchored VWAP also. Okay, so that's bullish and in an uptrend for QQQ. Weekly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, let's take a look at Diamond Dow on the daily chart. All right, Diamond Dow, higher low, higher high, closing over bullish trap, over the rising 17, top of quadrant 4. Nice bull flag up there. That looks like it's ready to pop today. Okay, so here's our April low. This is where we are today. We're up at the top of quadrant 4, so that's bullish. We haven't broken any lows yet, so we're still in our uptrend. So bullish and in an uptrend for Diamond Dow. IWM. IWM puts in a new all-time high. Doesn't get any better than that. Okay? You can't make new all-time highs probably without making higher lows and higher highs and being in an uptrend. So that is, here's our April low. There's our all-time high. That's bullish and in an uptrend on IWM. Okay, let's check out Stinker. All right, so Stinker is an inside day. It's a lower high and a higher low, closing under a bearish trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the major support, which is now minor resistance. It was major support when we were above it. We're underneath it now. You can see we are now consolidating under prior consolidation. That is a bearish environment. Okay, so price action no longer in the upper third. So this is neutral and in a downtrend. That's FNGU. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Silver puts in a lower high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17. Top of quadrant 4, that's bullish and an uptrend. This is our 2022 low. Right back here. Okay, so that's bullish and in an uptrend. Gold. Okay, 2022 low right here. Zoom in. Okay, you got a lower high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17, top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and still in an uptrend. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG is a lower high. Okay, new all-time low. Lower high, lower low. New all-time low for UNG. All right, that's on the daily chart. Bottom of quadrant 1, that's bearish and in a downtrend underneath this 2025 high anchored VWAP. Bearish and in a downtrend for UNG. Let's take a look at USO. USO is a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but over the rising 17 and over the minor resistance line, otherwise known as the downtrend line. All right, so, but underneath the 2022 high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line right through here, okay? So this is neutral and in an uptrend. Okay, right here, we got some consolidation. I would expect price, oh, it's already bouncing, all right, so I can see it. All right, so this would hit minor support, and what we want to see is this bounce back up and make a new high, all right? That's what we want to see. Make an equal high, make a new high, get back up here, start to consolidate over prior consolidation. That's USO, in an uptrend, okay? Not bullish yet, still neutral, because it's not in the upper third, it's not in the lower thirds. Check out our technicals. T2101, price action went up yesterday, okay? The breadth and the participation went up. We like that. That's a bullish report for me, so I like that. T2122, we spent the day hanging out in the overbought zone. We could hang out up here 3-5 days up here. Okay, if we hit 99, probably will signal a reversal in from that area. All right, but I like that. Price moved up to the overbought zone, camped out there all day. That is a bullish outlook. Same with T2101, seeing price move up and participation increase. That is a bullish outlook. T2123, all right, made a bullish gap up, and they went up, and then they held the higher ground, all right? So that's like planking for 4 hours straight. So that is a bullish outlook when they move up and hold that higher ground, and the bears are unable to fill that bullish gap up. So that is up over a rising 200 SMA. That's bullish and in an uptrend. If we look at this on the 3-bar chart, you'll see that that's a new all-time high for T2123. Okay, so here's our April low. This was the prior all-time high right there. We had a pullback to the neckline of this head and shoulders pattern. We got a bounce. We got up on top of the flat 200 SMA, consolidated above it, which is what I asked it to do weeks ago, and price action had a nice little breakout from the bull flag, and we made some new all-time highs up here on T2123. Okay, so a lot of bullishness going on in the market. Got gold's bullish, silver's bullish, IWM Russell 2000 is bullish. SPY and QQQ up at the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Diamond Dow up at the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. The only one that's not bullish is Stinker, all right? So Stinker yesterday gaps up, bullish gap up, but guess what? Bears squashed that immediately. They consolidated for 4 hours, and then the bears squashed it at the end of the day to fill the gap. We're still underneath the falling 200 SMA. Okay, that is a bearish outlook, not where I want to be. All right, we're still under the all-time pink line, all-time high anchored VWAP, still under the major support. It was major support when we were above it. Now it's minor resistance. Now we're breaking through support again, as you can see yesterday and today. Okay, so we'll see what happens. The only good thing that happened yesterday, we made a higher low. That's it. That's it. And it's not that impressive. All right, so there's Stinker on the 15-minute chart. We left off with, let me see if we even got an uptrend. Well, we're still in a downtrend. Look at that. Okay, they failed to make a higher high. The high's up here. They failed to make a higher high, so they're still in a downtrend. So that's it for Stinker. All right, let's take a look at the economic package. And we'll start off with the US dollar. Now I'm going to back out, and I'm going to squash it down. Okay, so you can see all of this. Okay, this right here, that is the 2025 high. Price has moved from that high down to this low. From this low, it is consolidated, see this low, over to the right. So this would be a big bear flag, okay? Multi-month big bear flag. Currently, in the bear flag, price is in a daily uptrend. Okay, we have a high right here. Price has made a higher high. Okay, so we're in an uptrend. Okay, yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, and we closed up here right around 99.34 area. Now, as a consumer, all right, having a weak dollar sucks because our dollars, you know, our earned dollars or our saved dollars or our retirement dollars don't go as far. It costs us more of our money to buy the same goods and services that we bought last year. All right, but as investors, it's a different story. Okay, for investors, we like a weak dollar because what that means is when our companies here in the USA go to sell goods and services overseas or to foreign countries, all right, the conversion rate is not as expensive. So hence we start selling more goods and services overseas. All right, and when we do that, we get more revenue coming in on the top line. When the revenue comes in on the top line, if management still has its act together, all right, and they can handle the increase in production or in service, whatever it is, okay, Usually those profits transcend down to the bottom line. Not always, most of the time. And when those transcend to the bottom line, you get a higher earnings per share, which oftentimes leads to a higher multiple or a higher price point. And hence the market rises, okay? So 2025, the dollar dropped, and now we're sitting in a bear flag now for 3 or 4 months. So as investors, this has been awesome because you can see SPY hit a new all-time high. IWM hit a new, Russell 2000 hit a new all-time high. You can see gold has hit a new all-time high. Silver has hit a new all-time high. Diamond Dow has hit a new all-time high. So everything's hit a new all-time high except for oil and gas. That's about it. Mostly everything has hit new all-time highs except for oil and gas. And go figure, you can't make anything without energy. And a lot of our energy has come from oil and gas. But not recently. In the past few decades, we've been transitioning out of oil and gas over to, well, hydroelectric, nuclear, solar, all kinds of different energy sources that we didn't quite take advantage of in the last century. So this is what happens when we get advancements. All right, so that's what we got right now. Dollar's in a bear flag. I'd like to see it go even lower. Okay, if it did that, we could get a really big pop in the market. We'll see what happens. That's it for me today, traders. We're going to trade this thing. Let's see. Let's go back and take a look at SPY and see if anything's changed. We're going to look at it with the pre-market on there. Actually, I did not review these. Let's go back to these. All right. And max pain for today is 680. Put to call ratio is 2.1 puts for each call that expires today. Okay, so 680 is a ways away. I don't know if they're going for 680. I would suspect they go after one of them. Either go after the puts or go after the max pain. 680 is a long ways off, being that we were at 695 last night. So I don't know what they got planned, all right? Not saying they won't go after 680. It's a possibility. We'll take a look at it. If that downtrend breaks the pivot, then I got to say maybe 680 is in the crosshairs for today. Economic calendar. For today, we got industrial production at 9:15, housing market index at 10, usually a rig count at 1. Okay, and on the earnings calendar, we have, last night was supposed to be Taiwan Semiconductor, or yesterday. That's funny. It had a sunshine there earlier. All right. PNC Financial today, $93 billion. Again, nothing here that's going to rock and roll the markets or move the markets. Everything's kind of, familiar names, but nothing here that's going to be market moving. What we did have is a lot of reports from BlackRock banking, all right, and investment banking. Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Citizens Financial, that would be regional. And then we had JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup. So let's go see what those are doing now. See if they got any love. All right. So let's go over to the daily chart and see what JP Morgan Chase is doing. All right, so they had a sell-off, and now they're in a bear flag, so no big bounce back. I'm going to call that no love. All right, that's Wells Fargo, WFC. They moved down and over to the right. No bounce. I'm going to call that no love. All right, let's take a look at Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs obviously got some love yesterday. They are now up over resistance right there. So, nice. Actually, that was a new all-time high for Goldman Sachs. Okay, this is investment banking. They got some love. All right, BLK. BlackRock got some love. All right, pop up, not a new all-time high like Goldman Sachs, but you're now showing an inverse bullish head and shoulders on BlackRock. So that looks good to go. Actually, all the way up here where the left arm left off, I would expect the right arm to extend all the way up there to where the left arm left off, all the way up there. So we'll see what happens. All right, so let's take a look at Bank of America. Bank of America got no love. Gene says Taiwan Semiconductor got 284 estimate, 314 actual. So they wanted 282 and they got 314. Well, that was right. Am I right, Gene? Okay, let's take a look at TSM. All right, TSM got some love. See that breakout to new all-time highs right there. All right, so nice work on Taiwan Semiconductor this morning. All right, beating the estimates once again. And it's no wonder AI is the biggest hit right now. A lot of companies are using it to improve on everything down to performance, down to how to save money, down to creativity, down to advertising. Okay, so a lot of companies are using it. So Taiwan Semi. So on the love side for the banking, didn't quite get it, and we're not getting a bounce. So I don't know how to read that other than it looks bearish. It's a mix. Of course, Goldman Sachs is one of the biggest in investment banking. And of course, they did go up and make new all-time highs, while others did not. All right, that's it for me for this morning. Let's take a look at SPY and take a look at it on the 10-minute chart. We have a 10-minute downtrend right here, 10-minute downtrend currently. We left off with a 10-minute downtrend. We have consolidation over prior consolidation. That's usually a bullish environment, all right? But we've already got a 10-minute downtrend. And we failed to make a new high, a higher high, all right? So I'm still looking for a 10-minute uptrend to manifest this morning. So more than likely, I'm going to box off the first 15 minutes, all right, and trade the breakout of that. Preferably, I'd like to wait for the 10-minute uptrend. That was a nice move yesterday. I would think they would want to continue with that. So that's why I'm looking forward to the 10-minute uptrend. All right, not to say that I don't mind playing a downtrend, but just remember the downtrend is counter trend in our environment because we have a bullish environment on quite a few of the indices, all right? Because the 2 hours are in uptrends, the dailies are in uptrends, the weeklies are in uptrends, and the monthlies are in uptrend. So I'm not going to get too wrapped up in a 10-minute downtrend, which happens to be counter trend when this morning we've got consolidation over prior consolidation. So we'll see what happens. I would really like to trade the 10-minute uptrend. And it looks like it may get pinched off this downtrend right here and probably work its way back up over VWAP. We'll see what happens. I'm more interested in trading an uptrend. It's starting to pop right now. We'll see what happens. All right, so more than likely, I may be picking off the bottoms, the lows of the option candles this morning. We'll know more when we get closer to 9:30. All right, so I'll see everybody in 40 minutes, 35 minutes, and we'll open up the markets.